Good morning, student. Myself Abhit Maheshwari, and today I'm going to start your new chapter. That is chapter number 5, and the name of the chapter is Introduction to Euclid Geometry. Before start this chapter, first we have to understand some basic concept which help us to understand the chapter in a easy way. So I'm telling you some basic concept. There are two words. First one axioms and postulate. What are the axioms and postulates? Axiom and postulate are that type of assumption which we have to consider as a universal truth. It means that if we say that the value of x is equal to 5, then we consider that it is the universal truth. It does not change. We does not need any proof for its verification. So they are known as axioms or postulate. And what are the theorems? Theorems, as you study Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus perpendicular square. So these are that type of student which for which we have to need some proof. It means for theorem you have to use some concept, some logic, some reasoning to drive that relation. So theorems can be proved by using different type of method, but axioms and postulate are never proved. They are always considered as a universal truth. Okay, now I am going to explain in detail by using the definition. Axioms or postulate are the assumption. These are the assumptions which are obvious universal truth. They are the universal truth. They are not proved. It means that it does not need proof. They are always considered as the universal truth. Okay, they are known as the axioms or postulate. Suppose sunrise from the east, we say that na. So it is the universal truth. We does not need any proof for that one. So whatever we consider as the universal truth, they are known as axioms or postulate. And some for that one, if we need some proof, they are known as a theorem. So theorems are a statement which are proved using definition. It means that theorems are that type of statement which can be proved by using definition or axioms. Axioms means universal truth, previously proved statement, someone which have you proved previously, and deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning means by using some logic concept you can define that theorem. So what is the difference between generally axioms or postulate and theorems? Axiom and postulate are the universal statement. They does not need any proof. And what are the theorem? Theorem are that type of statement which can be proved by using definition, axioms, and deductive reasoning. Okay. Now what are the Euclid axioms? Euclid given I think 7 axioms. So I am going to explain one by one. Euclid given some axioms and some postulate. So we have to consider it as a universal truth. According to Euclid, some axioms are there and some postulates are there. So first one is things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. So I am going to explain these things with the help of some example. Things which are equal to the same things, they are equal to one another. Suppose you have a length of a paper, and if the length of a paper is equal to a one blue paper. Now just understand that diagram. Question say that equal things are equal to each other. Suppose this normal paper is equal to the length of the blue paper, and this normal paper is equal to the length of the that colored paper. So these together are also equal. It means that in generally we say that if x equal to y and y equal to z. Now x is equal to y in one relation and y is equal to the other relation. It means that x is also equal to z. The mean of that axioms is what? Things which are equal to the same thing. Which are equal to the same thing. Suppose you have height of a person A is equal to the height of a person B, and the height of a person B is equal to the height of a person C, and the height of a is always equal to the height of the C. This is considered by that Euclid axioms. First one. Now second one is if equal are added to equal, their wholes are always equal. Suppose you have one number 5 is equal to 5. Now you add some equal number to the equals. It means they are already equal. Now you add a one new number 3. then I always add here 3 na? They are the equal na. So you add equal number to the equals. Equal number means you add 3 here, then what will you get here? 8 is equal to 8. It means that whatever you get now, that is the whole, they are always equal. Now explaining here on the board, if equals are added to the equals, then the wholes are equal. Now suppose these two numbers are equal. Now equals are added to equals. Now 5 added 3, then here also 5 added 3. Now 5 is equal, and now we add one equal number 3 to them. And what is the whole one? Whole is 8 is equal to 8. It means that if you add equal, that is equal to the equal, then the whole are always equal. Okay. Come on the next one. If equal are subtracted from the equals, then the remainder are equal. Okay. Now you have already two equal number. Suppose 10 you have, 10 you have. Now from that one you have to subtract equal number. Suppose you subtract here 3, so here you also add 3. What is the remainder? Remainder is 7. Also remainder is 7. So they say that if equal is subtracted from the equal, now this equal is subtracted from that equal, so whatever you get the remainder, this is also equal. It means 7 is equal to 7. These are the normal concept, but it is defined by the equivalent. So they are explaining their axioms here. Okay, simply you have to understand this one, don't confuse, because the important are the postulate from this chapter. These are the axioms. First to understand all the axioms, then I am going to explain the postulate also, and all these 5 postulate are very important, and this 5 one is very important. So you have to understand what is the meaning of their axioms and postulate. Okay, now next one is things which coincide with one another, they are equal to another. Okay, let's say that things which coincide with one another, things which coincide with one another, they are equal to one another. Suppose you have a one scale and you have one another scale, like that one. You have one another two scale you have. Now you have to put one scale and second scale all together. It means they are coincide with one another, or you have to bring like that one, it will coincide that one. Okay, so if two things are coincide with one another, they are always equal. I am showing you with a different color, just see. Suppose you have one scale like that one, and one scale you have like that one. Okay, so when you small I make so that you can understand, one scale like that and one scale like, suppose they are equal in length. Okay, so when you coincide, when you bring that to the red one, so it will become like that one. First you get the red, and that one you get the black. So they coincide with another. It means that if two things are coincide with another, they are equal to each other. Suppose the length, when you coincide with that one, and the length is suppose 8 centimeter, then when you separate it, then it also become 8 centimeter, it also become 8 centimeter. It is not difficult, simple, very simple things they are saying in the form of axioms and postulate. Okay, so they said, they told us that things which coincide with one another, one things you have coincide means they overlap on one another. One thing is a like that one, and second things will overlap on it like that one. They are known as coincide. So if two things are coincide with one another, if you separate them differently, green become here and red become here, if they coincide with one another, it means that their length is always equal. If the total length is 8, when you separate it, it become also 8, it become also 8. Okay, the next one, the whole is greater than the part. What is the meaning of that one? Whole is greater than the part. Suppose you have one circle, or you have to make a one pizza here. So when you separate it, what you get here? You make a one slide here. So what you get here? The whole is always greater than the part. It is a part of the pizza, na? So the whole pizza is always greater than the part. Whole is here, na? So whole is greater than their part. Simple things I am telling you here. One with more example. Suppose you have 4 boxes here. So if I take out one box outside, it become like that one. Now just it is the whole and is the part. Now just compare. Whole is always greater than their part. Whole value is always greater than their part. Okay, now next one, Things which are double of the same things are equal to one another. Things which are double of the same things are equal to one another. If two things, if the double of two things, suppose twice of 5 is equal to twice of 5 na, or you can say that if the height of twice height of a boy Arun is equal to the twice of the height of a boy's Piyush, for example. So you cancel 2 with 2, it becomes A is equal to 8p. It means that the height of a Arun is equal to the height of the Piyush. With one more example I am telling you. Suppose you have twice not of 5. Twice not of 5. So twice not of 5 is equal to twice not of 5. When you cancel 2, it becomes 5 is equal to 5. It means that if you have any things in a double form, so if you find it the single one, then they are also equal. That is if 2x is equal to 2x, or you can say that in the same way, if y is equal to x is 2y is equal to 2x. If the double of a same thing is equal to the double of a same thing, it means that their single things is equal to the same thing, that is y is equal to x. It means that they are the simple concept. All you know very well what I am telling here. If you subtract something, then the remaining are equal. If you add something, then the new one are equal. If you multiply something, then the new are always equal na. So these are the same things whatever we know, but these are explained by the equivalent in the form of axioms. Now seventh one, things which are half of the same things are equal to one another. Things which are half of the same things are equal to one another. If you have two things, it means their halves are equal, then original number are also equal. Or if you say that if original number equal to each other, then their half is also equal to each other. You can say half or you can say double, both are equal. So these are the normal concept. There is no need to explain. Otherwise, if I explain with taking more example, then you will be confused only, because it's very easy things. If two things are equal, if you double it, then they are also equal. If you half it, then they are also equal. Or you say that if double things are equal, then their original are equal, and if half things are equal, then their original are also equal. Okay. So all the axioms are finished now. I am explaining all the 7 axioms. They are not so important for the examination point of view, but postulate are very important. So just understand the postulate. Postulate, what is postulate? They are also considered a universal truth. A straight line may be drawn from any one point to the another point. All of you know that if you want to draw a straight line, so what you need one point and one another straight point. So when you draw a line from a one point to the another point, then always you get a straight line. All of you know already very well, but these all are explaining here in a form of postulate. If you want to draw a straight line, then you need a one point and start it, and you have come to the other end point, then you will draw one straight line. It means that for the straight line you need 2 points. Okay, now come on the next one. A terminated line can be produced indefinitely. It means that suppose you have a line. What is the meaning of line which have two arrow? It is a terminated line. Terminated means it is stopped. So if you want, you can produce it indefinitely. It means whatever you want, you can take it. So it is the second postulate. What is the second postulate? If you have a one line, so if you want, you can terminate produce it indefinitely. Means you can take it up to the infinite. This is the second postulate. Okay. Third postulate, a circle can be drawn with any center and a radius. All of you know that if you want to draw a circle, you need one center and you need one radius. They say that you can, if you want to draw a circle, what you need? If you want to draw a circle, you need one radius and one center. Okay. Now the next one, these all this you know very well, but now in a form of postulate you understand. If in the exam you are asked the question like that, state first postulate of equivalent geometry, then you have to write that statement. A straight line may be drawn from one point to another point. If they are asking state second postulate or state second equivalent postulate, state second third postulate, then you have to write that one. Okay, this postulate very important. They are coming for 1 and 2 marks. Postulate third, a circle. Okay, I already explained postulate third. A circle can be drawn with the help of any center. For if you want to draw a circle, what you need? You need one center and you need one radius. Then only you can draw one circle. Now fourth one, all right angles are equal to one another. Now suppose you have all right angle. Suppose it's right angle A, it is right angle B, it is right angle C, it is right angle D. So all are the right angle na? 90, it is also 90, it is a none. It means that though they all are also equal to one. That is angle A is equal to angle B is equal to angle C is equal to angle D is equal to 90 degree. It means that all angles are equal to all right angles. Right angle means they all are equal to 90 na. So they all are equal to 90 degree. This is the fourth postulate. What is the fourth postulate? All right angles are equal to one another. They four postulate very easy. Now come on the fifth one. It is very important and difficult also. So just understand in a better way. I am writing a one. I am making a one diagram here. I did not make in a notebook. So when you write that postulate, then just below it draw that diagram also. So first you read the postulate, then I am going to explain. Postulate 5 is if a straight line falling on two straight line. Just see here, you have a straight line. You have a one straight line like that one. It is falling on two straight line. It is also a straight line, it is also a straight line. Okay, like that one they are saying that. Make the interior angle on the same side of it taken together less than two right angle. It means that when you take two straight line like that one and take one straight line like that one, then make the interior angle, these are known as the interior angle, these are known as the interior angle on the same side of it. These also two are the interior angle on the same side, and this also the interior angle of the same side. Now they say that less than two right angle. You know that right angle is always just make a straight line. So if I make that angle that is less than 90, and if I make that angle is greater than 90, all of you know na, this sorry just wait, this one is a right angle, all of you. If I bend, if I reduce the gap, it is less than 90, and if I increase the gap, then it is more than 90. Okay, now they are saying that you have two straight line like that one and one like that one. You make two angle, interior angle. So they are also the interior angle, they are also the interior angle, but whose sum is less than two right angle. What is the meaning of two right angle? One right angle is 90 na? So what is the meaning of two right angle? That is 90% is 180. So whose sum is less than 180? Now just you tell me which side we have to consider that their sum is less than 180, here or here. If you see here, here angle is less, here angle is more. So these two sides you have to consider as less than 180. Then the two straight line, if produced indefinitely, meet on that side on which the sum of the angle is less than two right angle. Okay, now all this concept I am going to explain on a board. Just see here. Suppose you have one straight line, a small figure I have to make, one straight line that one and one straight line that one. Two straight line are here, and you need one more straight line like that. Okay, so you got one straight line here, two straight line here, and this is the another straight line. It is fall on the two straight line. All these three are straight line, and the first and the third one is fall on this first and second. Now when it fall on the two straight line, it makes some angle, one angle here, one angle here. They come on the inside, so they are known as interior angle. And the second thing, they have to make here one angle here, one angle here. Now just observe which two angle is less than, what is the sum of this two angle less than two right angle. It means that 180. This angle is less than 90 or not, because the gap between them is less, here gap is more, so it is more than 90. So they say that, so here the sum of the two right angle, here the sum of the two interior angle less than two right angle. It means this angle is less than 90, this angle is less than 90. It means that the sum of this angle is less than two right angle. Now question say that, according to the question, if you produce this line indefinitely, it means now you are required to produce this two straight line. Just wait, like that one you have to produce that one also. Now if you see, if you produce back side na, then this side will be intersect, but when you move upside it never intersect, because it diverges na, it is converge, it diverges here. So when you take, when you produce these two lines infinitely on the both side, then it will meet on which side, where sum of the interior angle less than two right angle, where at which side they have to meet, where sum of these two angle is less than two right angle. Now how to make the diagram? Clearly in your notebook you have to make a diagram like that one. First you draw a straight line, and here a straight line. These two are the straight line, okay? And if you want, you can take like that one. These are two straight line, and it is one other line which is intersect on it. Now what you do? Obviously the sum of this two side is less than two right angle. This angle is less than 90 na? This also 90, so both are less than 90. 90 is 180. But 180 we have to say that, not 180, we have to say that here according to definition, two right angle. Two right angle means 180. So when you produce this two side, what you get here? Now just produce like that one. You have to make your diagram, okay? And you have to produce that also. So what you get here, where sum of the two right angle is more than 180, at that side they have to diverge, and where the sum of the angle is less than two right angle, the sum of these two less than right angle na? So at that side when you produce they will meet. So this will explain by the equivalent fifth postulate. Now what does, just see here, I am going to explain. If a straight line falling on two straight lines, just see here, if a straight line, that is, this is your straight line 2 1 and falling on this two straight line. Now what the question say? Make the interior angle on the same side of it taken together as a right angle. Now when it fall na, it makes interior angle such that it is less than two right angle. So here they also make interior angle, here also they make interior angle, but this side the sum of the two angle is greater than 180, and this side the sum of the two angle is less than 180. So you have to say that less than two right angle in place of 180, okay? Now what they say, then the two straight line if produced indefinitely. Now these are the two straight line na? It is your first one, the second one, when you produce indefinitely. So with the red one you have to produce that side and that side. What you see here, if produced indefinitely, meet on that side on which, they will meet on which side, on which the sum of the angle is less than two right angle. These two line meet on that side where the sum of these two angle is less than two right angle. It means that they will meet at that side, okay? So this is the fifth postulate. If the question is come like that one, state fifth postulate, so you have to write the same definition without changing a single word. It is the actual definition which is given by. So you, if they are asking state fifth postulate, so you have to write the same definition. If they are asking explain fifth postulate, then you can write the same definition in your own word also, okay? If they are asking explain fifth postulate, discuss fifth postulate, like that one question will ask, then you have to write any definition which will explain the diagram in your own word. You can explain the diagram like that one. If we take a two straight line and one line in fall on it, then it will make two right angle, and if we produce that two line indefinitely, then on that side where the sum of the interior angle is less than two right angle, they will meet. It means that you can explain in your own word also, okay? But if they are asking state fifth postulate, then you have to write the same definition. Now two equivalent versions. So for that question number 5, you have to make that diagram what I am making here, okay? Actual diagram you have to make like that one. I am explaining, that's why. So you have to make the diagram. Here some of the angle is less than two right angles, so when you put it, it will become like that one. Now two equivalent version of equivalent fifth postulate. So what will you conclude on that side? So one result will come from this postulate is a parallel line. Now I will tell you. Suppose two line will come like that one, okay? And you make a example, then on that side they will meet where the sum of the angle is less than two right angle, and on that side they never meet where sum of the angle is more than two right angle. Then what will happen if the sum of the angle is equal to 180 degree or two right angle? Two concepts are there here, less than 180 degree and more than 180 degree. And in what condition what will you get here? If they are equal to 1 degree, then when they are equal to 1 degree na, when they are equal to 1 degree, then they are always a parallel line. So concept of parallel line can be derived from the fifth postulate. Fifth postulate say that two line you can take, when if you produce that side where sum is more than 180, they will never intersect. and when the sum is less than 180 or two right angle, then they will intersect. And what will happen when the sum is equal to 180? When sum is 1 equal to 180 na, then they are always a parallel line, they never meet this side and this side. Okay, so concept of parallel line can be derived from the equivalent postulate. Now to equivalent version, it means that it is a standard definition. Now in other word you can also explain. If they are asking in another word, you can use that to statement. For every line L and for every point P not lying on L. Now you have 2 points, first one L and first one P, and P is not lying on L. Okay, there exists a unique line M passing through P and parallel to L. So there exists a one line M which pass through P and parallel to L. It is the second concept. If you want to write equivalent postulate in another form, you can write like that one. What the question say? Now I am explaining here. Suppose you have a one line L, okay, and you have a one point P which is not lies on the L. Now there exists a one line which pass through the P. Unique line means only one line is there. Unique means only one and only one. Like that one, it passed through the point P and parallel to the L. There exists a line M which is parallel to the L and pass through the P. It is also the equivalent version of the fifth postulate. Now I am making a diagram here. It is a line L. It is a point P. When you draw on a single line which pass through the P, it will always parallel to the M. That is L parallel to M. Now second one, two distinct intersecting line cannot be parallel to the same line. It means that if two lines intersect with each other, then they will never parallel to each other. Suppose it is the line L, it is the line M, and they intersect each other. It means that L is never parallel to M. L is never parallel to M. Two distinct different, two different intersecting line. Suppose line P is there, Q is there, they are intersect at that point now, cannot be parallel to the same line. It means that they never parallel to each other, or it means that they cannot be parallel to the same line. It means that I am explaining here. Second one, suppose you have one straight line P, intersecting line, it is also Q. They are intersect to each other now. Now if you want to draw the parallel line, so you can draw the parallel line to any one of them, not to the both. If you want to draw the parallel to the Q, then you can draw like that one. But this line never parallel to the P. This is your parallel line, na? New parallel line I am making with red. It means that red line is parallel to the Q but not parallel to the P. And again, if I am drawing a parallel line to P, if I am drawing a parallel line to a P, it means that it should be parallel to P but never parallel to Q. Okay. So it is a equivalent postulate. That one I am explaining here. This is the equivalent one. It means that they are equal to one another. So if question are asking state fifth postulate, then you can write the same statement. If they are asking explain fifth postulate, then you can write any one of them. Two part are there. So one again I am going to explain this to the different one. First one is, if there is a line L and there is a point P which is not line on L, then you can draw only one unique line which pass through P and parallel to L. This is postulate. And second one, if you have two intersecting line, it is P and it is Q, suppose. So if you want to draw another parallel line, so if you draw parallel to the P, then it never parallel to the Q. For the Q, it become intersecting line. For the P, red line is parallel. Red line is parallel to the P, but red line is intersecting for Q. Okay. In the same way, I am making one more line. If I am drawing parallel line with Q, I am drawing line with Q. Now that is yellow line is parallel to the Q, but yellow line is intersecting for P. Understand or not? So it is the what? Equivalent fifth postulate in other form. Equivalent fifth postulate. So two distinct intersecting line cannot be parallel to the same line. If two intersecting line are there different, so they cannot be parallel to the same line. It means if one line is there, so only P is parallel to this one, not Q. And if a line is like that one, so this line is parallel to the Q but not P. So it is the equivalent version of what? It is the equivalent version of what? Fifth postulate. So if you have any doubt in this basic concept, you can ask me now. These are for your knowledge only, and if you know that concept, then it is very easy for us to do the next exercise. And for the examination purpose only 3 and 4, 2 and 3 marks question will come from that one. So this chapter is not also important for the examination point of view, but at least it is a very easy one. and you easily can get 2 and 3 marks from this chapter. So if you have any doubt in this chapter, you can ask me now. Thank you.